Yeah, so here we go again. My name is Ben. This is my substitute for psychotherapy. It's known as solo therapy because here I am all by myself. It's just I, me, and myself. I've been shopping. I managed to defend my thesis. I have now graduated. I am now a Bachelor of Arts. I did not graduate with too great a grade. I had originally hoped cum laude was not out of the window, but apparently it was. Because as a final goodbye, the attachment, which I made sure to cover my arse and ask the right person, would count as volume, apparently did not. So I wrote 29 pages of nothing, of protocol, a shot by shot breakdown for not much at all, because apparently I should have gotten it in writing. Just asking the right person to cover my arse weren't doing the right job. One thing I certainly learned throughout these studies was cover your arse, which I believe is a very good life skill to have, particularly as one is not self-employed or does not aspire to be self-employed. In terms of employment, I did send out just before noon today, well, a bit before actually, my second application for a job. Have yet to get any responses for the first application, and I'm getting the feeling I'm not going to be waiting for that. So the second one now is at my former place of internship, who happen to be in dire need of someone starting next Monday. Well, theoretically starting Sunday, but Sunday's a Sunday, so which means I may very well end up starting there after all. Assuming things go smoothly, I sent them an application, they got my references. Hoping to have an interview tomorrow. If not, it's going to be the day after. Latest the day after, I'd show up there anyway, because it's a good pie party for a former colleague. Colleague as in a colleague of my internship. They're leaving end of the month, which is Friday. Coincidentally, well, it's Saturday, but you get the point. They're leaving, so they'll have a little goodbye party. I am invited, and I will attend. And I'm hoping to be there anyways for the interview, even if not as a good reason to get out of the house. In terms of getting out of the house, for the past 14 days, I believe, I've managed to go for walks every single evening. Today will be the first in this period of time that I will not be going for a walk. It's just too bloody warm outside, and I'm knackered and mentally drained, not from the thesis defence admittedly, but just from life. Currently the time is 17 to 8 in the PM, the temperature is 29.5 degrees centigrade, so it's hella warm still. It's also really rather humid. I did manage to have a shower. I've done most of my dishes. When I get home, I'll have some laundry done. As you can tell, this shirt got some filth on it already. I've only been wearing it for today, but meh. So I'll have a couple of clean shirts to take out the laundry, some pants, and that's really it. I'm starting to do smaller loads for laundry just because it's easier manageable. More easily manageable, there we go. Language is hard. I'm quite happy having gotten the degree, I guess. That's now behind me, so now I've got to look for a job to pay my rent in a month's time. Then again, I've been looking for a job for the past 3 weeks, and I believe my odds are not bad at getting one. One thing that would help a lot to get the job is to qualify as electrician, for which I could do. Well, I could qualify as a minor electrician with a 2-week course, and as a major electrician with an 8-week course, both of which are beyond what I am willing to spend outside of work though. So I'll first have to get a job, and then I'll either have the employer pay that and not ask for a wage increase for several months after, because they paid for it, or I'll end up paying it for it myself. And the moment I get the qualification, I'll have to ask for a wage increase. Adjustment is something people prefer apparently as a term. So that's something I'll have to sort. I have been kind of counting my chickens before the eggs are even laid, not even to speak of hatched, which is a dangerous road to go down. Then again, it's bloody hope, something I ain't had for quite a while in life. And to be fair, I didn't have hope for quite a while in life for reasons, because, surprise, if you have hope, you can be disappointed. Here I am again, not having learnt my lesson, hoping yet again. I reckon it'll work out, but you never know, you know. October might roll around and I might still be unemployed, in which case I'm kind of screwed. But that's still quite a while to go to. And I still have 2 companies I can apply at, no worries. At least one of which is actively looking for someone, even though it's not a listed job. Got some inside information from another client of theirs who they asked if they work at theirs, you know. Who happens to also be a client of my former place of internship. I believe that much I can disclose. There's nothing wrong with that. It's true for most people. For shopping, I spent $65, and of that, oh shit, 17, so that would have been pretty much a quarter, is on milk and deposit for milk bottles. So quarter of the money I spent is milk, and probably a quarter is sweets, and a quarter is drinks, and a quarter is other stuff. Other stuff includes things such as butter, because I've actually started to run out of butter, even though I like keeping a healthy stock. Today I actually managed to get up fairly early, like 7 in the morning. I awoke and hopped out of bed, got my blood flowing, so that worked out, and I managed to then stay awake. Had my shower, went to my former place for internship, because from there it's not remotely as far to my uni as it is from my place, which means I did not have to have as much travelling buffer from my former place for internship to uni, which is something I was really quite comfortable with, because otherwise I was sat in uni for an hour or so to be sure I'm not late, you know, and I wouldn't want to be late for the one bloody appointment I got for my thesis. I was half an hour early, just as both examiners were. Pleasant surprise. So that worked out. One other thing where I was not early, I was on time, but no one else ended up showing, is the student representation, the current new student representation, not even elected yet. We're looking to do a meeting. I told them I'd gladly do a handover, because apparently the in-between student representation didn't do much at all. Not in terms of a handover, in terms of anything, but still, you know, each to their own. Perhaps they overloaded themselves with work. They agreed on it. We had a date and an appointment set. I showed up and then checked my text messages in the group threads, because, you know, why else would you check it? It was made in an hour before it went cancelled, so why would you cancel it last minute? And apparently the organiser said, screw it, I'm not going to be here. Not enough people voted on the appointment, even though they'd set the appointment and we'd agreed upon it. So I spent half an hour in that call just sitting there, because I told them, I'll be around for half an hour. Turns out they don't want a handoff. Their loss, I guess. It's not my loss, because I'm basically done with uni now. It's kind of a shame, but I'm also not surprised, which I'm sad to say. It's just because so many students start with the student representation of hopes of it being a paid gig or so, or giving you benefits, before they actually realise, oh shit, it's just extra work, and the only benefit you get is you get some credit. Not credits, some credit, so you just get a reference after saying, this person represented the students of this uni for this many years, from then till then. That's all you get. And a lot of them don't appear to like that. I mean, the reason I done it is because no one else wanted to do it. I didn't want to do it, but I didn't want to do it the least of all, I guess. Everyone else wanted to not do it more than I did. And someone have to do it, you know. So I guess I volunteered for that then. But I'm no longer volunteering. I believe this Saturday they plan an open house at the new location for uni. I may very well attend that. Next Saturday, assuming everything goes smoothly, I may actually go to some music event, just because a good friend of mine is playing and is music I probably would enjoy. Then again, I wouldn't be drinking because I'll be driving. That is other news. I believe it was after I last spoke. I've gone on public transit, man. Like, I'm kind of proud to say it. It was 2 stops of U-Bahn, followed by 2 stops of tram. I walked back though because that was already more than my limit. It was to the T joint, and I realised it was too close to closing for me to walk the remaining 2.5k. So I hopped in U-Bahn for a couple of stations, couple of stops, and then in a tram for a couple of stops. You wouldn't believe, and I managed it. Then again, it was not a peak hour. They were rather empty. There was seating positions in both. But yeah, I mean, far, I went in public transport. I'm kind of happy about that, yeah, I'm really kind of happy about that. Probably more so than I am about having graduated. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I mean, the graduation ceremony is only a couple and 2/3 months down the road, almost 3 months really. Is it almost 3? Yeah, it's almost 3 months down the road. But I've been told I've graduated, and I haven't got it in writing, but I do have an impartial witness. So I believe I shan't be screwed out of that. Hope is the best I can do, I ain't got nothing in writing. For all I know, uni will say, "Ooh, you never showed up." Sadly, that wouldn't be too great a surprise. With my former place of internship, I've been hanging around there just because I can, Monday, I actually spoke to the personnel management. Gave him my references and said, "Oh yeah, right, I'll send you an application." And then I proceeded to, with the handy guys of the place, weld up some stuff. They said, "Oh, can you weld?" I said, "Of course I can." I mean, I only welded something that had to hold once before, and I've only welded 2 other things in total before. But I was quite happy with my welds. One thing I got, which they didn't, admittedly in this case it don't really matter because it's a very low load application with no risk of total failure. If it fails, it's just a loud noise and no danger. But I believe I got a lot of penetration and they did not. Then again, we blew the circuit several times because it's the cheapest kind of stick welder you can have, But that worked out. So that's now a minor quality of life improvement. You wouldn't believe. Crazy. And I helped that even though I'm not even working there. I just like having the option of messing around welding using an angle grinder. And so because I'm not a city kid, but here in the city, in my flat I can't do welding, the fire service will be there in no time. Fire brigade. So I guess that's a handy feature of my former place of internship. Plus I believe they knew it before anyways. But every time I do something like this, I also up my value in the eyes of the people who work there. Because, surprise, he can even weld, I mean, I'm not a welder. I wouldn't want to be welding anything structural. But things for aesthetics or guides that are not structural, I'm very happy to weld. I believe my welding is good enough to weld structures, but I wouldn't want to weld structures that other people rely on, just because self-esteem, presumably. But I did get some real nice penetration, considering it was square pipe, 1mm wall thickness. I probably got penetration halfway down that pipe, welding it onto another of the same kind of pipe. And one would think that would result in burn through, blowout, but it did not, so Blowout's not the right term. Blow through? I don't know. I'm not a bloody welder, you know. Then again, welders tend to not be bloody because they are fully clothed. Surprise. And they have skin as well. With traffic, in the recent past, I've been telling more and more people about their lights not working. It's always surprising because I'm always the first person to tell them. And I usually observe them for half the city before I manage to tell them, just because I don't speed much more on that in a moment. And they tend to drive quicker than the speed limit. More on that in a moment. So here we are. With the speed limits, I've been sticking to them still when I drive by myself, but in traffic flow, just for short durations where I deem it of no risk, no excess risk, I speed up to match the cars in the lanes next to me, sometimes just to find out what speed they're going. And usually I tap out at 65 in a 50, and they keep going, and I just tap out because I can't go that quick, man. It's fucking crazy. These people are maniacs, speeding like hell, you know. I mean, considering his square function, you know, 625, is it? No, that's 25 squared, shit. 2,500, there's 3,600, is hella difference. And that's just 10 kph above 50 speed limit. Because of square, in the end of the day, the braking distance. Realistically, it's a close enough approximation. But that means it's 25 versus 36. 36 is a lot more than 25. And that's just 10 above. I at times am crazy enough in the head, you know, sick enough in my head, to actually go 15 above. And these people keep going and are faster than me. And I'm always make sure to not be street racing, because a lot of the time the only thing that differentiate me from street racing is the speed limit. And if I'm going above the speed limit, hell. But I always make sure to be well behind them and have safe distance, and preferably be offset. But I just match them, try and match them for very short stretches to find out how quickly they're going. And I think it's fucking nuts, man. Like, you know, there we go, that's a thumbnail. But at the end of the day, the plot don't give much a shit, apparently. At least not in this city. I've seen them pull over cars every now and then, particularly in the recent past. But it's usually old shit boxes. No offence toward those cars, but they are shit boxes. I got one in the shed myself. That do not pull over when they just light up the please stop or follow me, but they actually have to turn on their blue strobes, which really is the last resort for getting attention short of a siren. Which you shouldn't need for pulling people over, because people should be paying attention to their mirrors. One would think, anyways. In the past few days, particularly yesterday, but also some cases today and some the day before yesterday, I've observed one thing that worked really rather well, which is sirens and blue strobes coming behind, and everyone, including myself and other drivers, all the other drivers as well, or at least enough of them, managing to get out of the way even though the light in front may be red. Admittedly, I usually honk my horn the moment I notice something like that close enough to the point where we are not going to be out of the way by the time they get there. And I believe that leads people to look, but I can't take all the credit, you know. But it's been working surprisingly well. I've probably been driving about, I'd guess ballpark 45k a day on average, which is more than I should be able to justify and more than I can justify, but I like doing it anyway, so I'll keep doing it until I can't afford it, which is about end of this month, but you know, and the end of this month is in 3 days' time. Oh no. So that's something I'll manage, hopefully. I mean, if I got a job, I can afford to keep driving. Then again, with the end of this month, my general inspection on this car also lapses, which means it will be due. for up to 2 months after. They are very lenient in regards of you getting a new general inspection, which means by the time I need one, I'll certainly be able to afford one. Car currently is fit for the road. At its current state, it should pass a general inspection, but not for the next 2 years, because in the end of the day, they can't let you out with something that essential that need maintenance within half a year, you know. And my brakes are at the point where they would need replacing sometime soon. All components, that is discs and pads. And while doing that, you know, one might as well have the fluid done. One don't want steam in that. Cost me an arm and a leg, I know that already, but it was worth it. So that's just something I'll have to suffer through. In the end of the day, it's not much suffering. I like paying the money because I like what it gives me. Assuming I have the money to start with. Yeah, it's bloody warm, man. Double check the temperature. Yeah, still 29.5 degrees centigrade. So, hella warm, you know. I haven't been playing many video games in the evenings, oddly enough, and I've been managing to go to bed at an almost timely fashion for healthy circadian rhythm. Healthy in this case implying the alignment with societal norms. Not actually healthy within itself, because healthy within itself, hell, one can have a 30-hour day night cycle and it's healthy for you, perhaps, but it is not up to the societal norm, which means it makes living in this society difficult. Because, you know, who's going to be able to go shopping at 3 a.m? I mean, there is several shops in this city who close late, but they all close midnight. There is some that open at 5 a.m, but that's like a 5-hour time window. Today's drink of choice is Edeka Green Multivitamin. Pineapple, grapes, kiwis, apple, and lime. Yeah, so by the next time I speak to myself, I hopefully will have a job. Fingers crossed, damn gedrückt, you know. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching this, by the way. My thesis film is also on this YouTube channel, in case you have not seen it. With the thesis film itself, I'm happy enough considering the time I had. But in future, I'd want to make it longer duration, assuming proportional editing times. So more time. And I don't mind more output in more time, as long as there is more time. Apparently one thing my examiners did not like about my presentation was the fact that I talked about which struggles I had with the processes, so writing, filming and editing. Apparently that was not something they want to hear, though they did want to hear about creative paths I went down, why I didn't go down others, which for me is kind of an overlap, but oh well, you know, each to their own, I guess, and I passed. And realistically, with an academic degree like a Bachelor of Arts for me, there is 3 levels of passing. That is not passing and passing cum laude. Passing cum laude I did not, so I got the best option I would, you know. Though my thesis paper got the worst grade possible for passing. Kind of a bummer. But oh well, you know. I've been eating on the regular. I still have 3 packs of pierogi remaining from a couple of weeks ago. Gonna have to do them very soon, so I'll do 1 pack tonight, 1 tomorrow, 1 day after. Hopefully, fingers crossed, damn gedrückt, you know. I've actually been eating fairly healthily. I mean, surprisingly enough. Then again, I've got time these days. Ain't got a job, ain't got to do work for uni. I'm pretty well off, you know. With my presentation, I did transfer 1 copy on my laptop, which I used for presenting, and I did have a USB stick for redundancy's sake with hard copies of all the stuff on it. just because, you know. It'd be ludicrous to not have at least one redundant backup. I mean, come on. Yeah, so anyways, thanks a lot for watching me talk to myself. I'll see you around. I mean, yeah. Hope I got a job next time I'm around, and I hope you got a job whenever you need one. Stay safe, see you around. Cheerio.